Hello, guys. Welcome to Invest Guru. My name is Jimmy. I was going to make this a faceless channel completely, but I'm going to start speaking on it because of the politics and the things I'm seeing going on. I think that's more important because I have a lot of insight that I feel that is very important as far as what's going on with Donald Trump and the Democrat Party. And I'm not going to say I'm 100% Republican because I was raised in a Democrat household. I was raised in a middle class, which Democrat used to be. I don't know if anyone knows that anymore, but Democrat used to be, say, 30 years ago, for the middle class. And so I'm now a Republican because of that. I've seen the shift of go from Democrats who was middle class, which a lot of people don't even know that Democrats used to be middle class. Now they're not for the middle class at all. They're owned by so many conglomerates, and there's so much corruption going on. It's pathetic. But the main reason I'm actually doing this video is to do some reaction videos to some of the craziest stuff I'm seeing going on. Anyone that's okay with what's going on with President Trump right now has lost their mind. The guy just got 4 indictments, an ex-president, sitting president, 4 indictments for what he said on Twitter. No one in America should be charged for anything they say on Twitter, no matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they say. It's what they do. If they don't do anything, and then because of their speech, which is freedom of speech, because of what they say, they're being charged. Anyone that's okay with this, you don't understand. They could easily do it to you. If they were doing it to a billionaire ex-president who has Secret Service around him all day long, who has enough money to get the best attorneys in the world, and they're doing it on TV every single day, and people are like, yeah, that's great. No, it's not great, because they could do it to you. We are nobody. Me, I'm nobody anyways. I don't know about you, but I'm nobody when it comes to President Trump. I'm nobody when it comes to President Biden. But I do know that there's flat out ignoring the information from Biden and going after Trump. And I want to know, what's the real reason? What does Trump have on these people that he's not telling anybody? Trump is so backed in a corner that he can't tell the real dirt he has on people. He can't tell the real dirt he has on people. And his first presidency, he was more worried about policy changing than going after people. Now he understands the game and he wants to get back in there because he's like, okay, I can run policy and I'm also going to expose corruption. And they're aware of this. It's interesting. Side note, real quick. Obama's chef just passed away. He drowned. He was a professional swimmer. Interesting fact. Bill Clinton had his chef, who also died. Guess what reason? From drowning. They have videos on both these people swimming in professional size Olympic swimming pools, and they both swam excellent. This gentleman that just died from Obama, his personal chef, was a professional swimmer, and he was out paddleboarding. I don't know anybody that goes out paddleboarding that can't swim. Period. You don't go out paddleboarding and you can't swim. People that can't swim are deathly afraid of the water. They're not going to go out there on a little bitty paddleboard and start paddleboarding around until they fall off and drown. Reason I bring up the swimming thing is because that was the first explanation of the Obamas to say that he couldn't swim. He didn't know how to swim. Well, then there's video surfaced of him swimming in an Olympic-sized pool. Found out he used to be a professional swimmer, and he was very athletic. So the swimming thing was out the window.
Got to catch what's going on here, and got to catch the food.
Iowa caucus, I have not decided on a candidate at this point. I think we have a lot of good choices. My biggest concern would be to change administrations.
I wish that people really think beyond the headlines, beyond the social media posts, and really think critically on the issues. And number 2, I hope they vote.
Republican presidential hopefuls have been trying to charm Hawkeye voters at the Iowa State Fair. Iowa is seen as a testing ground for candidates and their vote-gaining abilities to try and win over early support. Our Major Garrett is at the fairgrounds where he's been speaking with presidential candidates and voters in the Hawkeye State. I hope he's also been eating some delicious fried foods there in my home state of Iowa. So, Major, I know that you spoke with Iowa Senator Joni Ernst. I'm going to play for our viewers what she told you in response to the charges against Trump and how they're being viewed in Iowa.
I think Iowans are becoming very desensitized to all of these indictments. And I do my county tours, I do town halls at those county tours. And a lot of Iowans are coming back and they're like, what's the deal? They're saying there's one system of justice for President Trump and there's another system of justice for Joe Biden. So they see a disparity there. And so they have gotten to a point now where all they see is the judicial system going after President Trump.
So, Major, how are we seeing the indictments play out among voters when you're talking to people there?
So look, Senator Ernst is capturing something that I encountered all day here yesterday at the Iowa State Fair. And that is a default position of sympathy for former President Trump, that he's being hounded by Democratic investigations. But when I asked...
I'd like to cut in here real quick. It's not sympathy. It's the simple fact that we see the corruption.
And we talked all to Republicans who intend to caucus or planning to caucus in January. They told us, yes, I feel sympathy. Democrats are after Trump. And I said, okay, but do you think there's anything...
I would like to see one of these videos of him having this conversation with all these people that he's spoken to.
...underlying conduct that brought any of this on? And they, almost to a person, would pause and say, yeah, probably. And I would say, does that bother you? And they would say, yes, that's one of the reasons I'm wrestling with what my choices might be in the January caucuses. What is important at this point right now in Iowa and all the other early states, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Nevada, is that Republicans are trying to come up with the answer to this very big question. Is the party better off with or without former President Trump? And if it's better off without him...
It smells like bullshit to me.
...is the person best able to win for Republicans in 2024? They're nowhere near coming up with that answer to either of those questions, but they're wrestling with it. Trump is leading here by a lot, far and away. He's leading nationally, far and away. So there's that default position of sympathy to Trump and also a preference for him. But is that preference going to manifest itself in actual voting behavior come January? That is the question that Trump can't answer, and none of his rivals here talking to voters face-to-face can answer. Those people who are Republicans not named Trump are hoping that they can change that dynamic, can somehow persuade Republicans that the party is better off without Trump. That hasn't happened yet, but the voters we talk to here are at least open to that, and some have already made up their minds, like, yeah, I'm done with Trump.
It smells like bullshit to me.
So we'll see.
Well, Major, I know how Iowans really take seriously the responsibility that they have being the first and really in getting to meet these candidates face to face and pose questions to them. Are there any talking points that any of these candidates are offering up that are resonating with Iowa voters?
Why are you asking me this question?
Okay, this is gonna hurt.
Absolutely. Biden is bad, the economy is not where it ought to be, and immigration is a huge issue. I would say those are the three things you hear every single stump speech from every Republican coming through here. Biden's policies are bad. There are those who will lean more aggressively into the idea that Biden himself or the family members around him are somehow corrupt.
Completely corrupt.
But economics
Everything is falling apart.
is something Republicans want to speak about and argue about. They're eager to take on the president.
So funny. This gentleman actually gets tongue-tied as he's speaking about Biden because everyone knows, what do you mean supposed corruption? There's corruption. We understand that. There's a 9-year-old child that has Biden's granddaughter that has an LLC in her name that received $2.3 million. There's corruption from another country. From Ukraine, she received $2.3 million. She has an LLC in her name. I want to know what a 9-year-old did for Ukraine to have $2.3 million sent to him. So yes, there's corruption 100%. That's no doubt. So them saying this supposed corruption with the Biden family, that's crazy. And even the news stations are aware of that. And they're so afraid to just admit this because they've already got themselves in this machine of going for Biden. They helped Biden get in the election. They helped cover up so much during the election that they're really almost feeling stupid to a point that they're like, hey, we're so far into this, we just can't back out. And there's so many people that are against Trump lie to you. They'll tell you something that's obviously not true, that everyone knows not true, but they're going to stick to it because you've gotten yourself so far into something that there's no turning back. And we're understanding that. They're so far against Trump. Now they're actually saying, okay, well, we're okay with a Republican winning, just not Trump. They want another fresh face in the White House, a dummy that they can puppet for the next 4 years so they can come up with something else where the deep state can control back over the presidency. Right now, the last person they don't want someone with experience, with 4 years of experience that Trump has. Look at it like this. When you're first in the White House, you're in there to change policy. You have so many people in your face wanting you to sign executive orders, change policy. You don't really know the gist of the being a president. The second term is where presidents actually start to shine, and they understand, hey, I know the system. I know exactly what's going on, so they don't have these things to worry about any longer. And they're aware of that. They know that Trump walks into that White House. He knows it front to back. He knows policy. He knows what to change. He knows how to control it. And he knows that people are after him. And he understands that. And they understand this with CBS and all these news channels. They understand that they're being uncovered every day for the fraud and the conspiracies and all the BS that they had going on. Like Hunter Biden laptop. I mean, that was so covered up. It's pathetic. It was covered up by the highest agencies of the government. And this dossier that was against Trump, it's so crazy because it makes me feel like, honest opinion, I don't know if I'm crazy or if I'm just thinking all. It makes me think like, have we ever actually voted in?
An explosion any second.
When it comes down to it, it's like Trump's leading the polls so far currently. He's leading them so far. He's smoking everyone. And they're still on the news showing that Biden's neck and neck with them.
Stink, 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 stink.
So I don't understand that. I don't see how Biden is right beside Trump and Trump's smoking everyone but the Democrats, and everyone supposedly dislikes Biden and his policies. There's not that many Democrats that are for Joe Biden. There's Democrats that want Joe Biden out of there. There's not anybody that likes paying $7 for a carton of eggs. Please make a comment and let me know, because you have too much money. I can't afford $7 for carton eggs. I can't afford a $5 gallon of milk or these organic milks that are now $9 a gallon. That's crazy. That's absurd. So there's no Democrat that can tell me they're okay with that, period. Because nobody's okay with it. It don't matter if you have $1 or you have $1 million. Nobody likes paying crazy prices like that. So please, if you have any insight on why they might be after Trump like they're, make a comment. Let me know what you think. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. That's all for today. Thank you for choosing Investor Room. My name is Jimmy. I'll see you next time.